Hello, I'm Adriana. I'm a Master SoulPath Teacher and Guide. And today I'm going to open up this space and ask for channeled messages to help us at this time. Things that we need to know. If there are any of your guides that want to come through and deliver messages, this space is open for them. And my guides will be talking to us as well. So let's just see where we're going with this. I'm probably going to use a few different decks. So if you see images that kind of don't look like they're from the same place, then that's why. Okay, starting with Page of Fire. This is about really nurturing your creative spark and making sure that you are very connected to the things that bring you joy. It's also important that you're aware of what brings you joy. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes what brought us joy in the past doesn't bring us joy anymore, but this is an awareness of needing to connect. So whether you need to redefine what brings you more joy or you need to carve out space for that joy. Wow, we've got a lot of intuitive cards coming out here. That's what we need to do, okay? So identify what brings you joy, carve out space for that joy. We're followed by the Two of Water, so Two of Cups, and also the High Priestess. All right, where are we going with this? I feel like these cards are talking about the relationship between the higher self and between creativity. That you in the middle are like the channel for the creative ideas to come through to the High Priestess. And there's something about needing to spend more time being creative. And that may mean for you writing poetry, it may mean painting, it may mean just connecting with something that's beautiful. I also think that life is essentially creation. The things we talk about, the things we think, the relationships, all of those things are things that we are actively creating. But there's a strong sense that the higher self, the connection from the divine, from your intuition, really wants to come through in a new way to spark a new project with you, to spark a new outlook, and to spark a new direction. So if you've been thinking, yeah, I need to start this project, or I'd really like to learn this, or I'd really like to do that, this is the time, this is the urging from your soul saying this is what we need to do right now. There's also going to be a reconnecting with either a lost or a deeper part of yourself. That's what I'm feeling with this Two of Cups. So, on the surface level, if it's something you used to do in the past and you bring it back, you're going to find a new joy or a new inspiration with it. It also could be learning about a hidden talent or learning about a lost talent. So something that you used to be able to do or did a lot, but kind of forgot about it, or life got in the way. That's going to come back to you. So I think overall this is about expansion of joy and really making space in your life for that expansion of joy. Okay, I'm going to switch to, this is the Star Tarot. This was the Verhexa Tarot by MJ Culinaire. I always get her name a little bit funny in my head, but she's the one who did the Crow Tarot and the Indie Crow Tarot, Urban Crow, I think, sorry, not Indie. So if you're familiar with those, this is also, I love this deck from her. It's just very, very rich with color, and the layering is really cool. Okay, so where else are we going with this? I think we're going to be doing one card at a time here. All right, I'm getting the word soulmate connection. So interested to see where we're going with this. Knight of Wands, and that's interesting because Knight of Wands can indicate the very quick beginning of a relationship or the quick start to a relationship. Okay, now this is about following your heart, following your courage, following your passion. So this really, from the page to the Knight of Fire, he's really bringing that in, that passage forward. This brings it up a notch in terms of the courage required to follow through, the courage required to follow through on what brings your heart joy. And it's one thing to know what it is. It's one thing to identify, I need to have time, but it's also another thing to have courage, especially if what you're doing is disruptive or is going to change your current lifestyle or is just different, like you're going after something that's kind of out there. Now, why are you telling me soulmate? Okay, I think that's going to become apparent in a second. King of Cups, and Princess of Pentacles. Okay, we still keep getting soulmate messages. King of Cups is that connection to the heart, the divine, the unconditional love, the wisdom and maturity that comes through understanding emotions, but someone who really understands how to nurture and give to others. This is that beautiful open heart. This is that beautiful supportive partner. And then we have this Princess of Pentacles, which is the beginning of a new partnership perhaps, or a new opportunity. What's really going on here? Do you know what I believe this is saying? When you make space to connect with your joy, when you're making space to connect with where your heart is asking you to go, I think this is going to lay the foundation and open you up to attracting that soulmate connection. Because it's like you're being your own soulmate by honoring your heart, by listening to your desires, by following your intuition. You're being your own soulmate, and so then you can attract other people that are on that same wavelength who can be soulmates for you. You tell me something more about this soulmate relationship, because we have so many different terminologies: twin flame, twin soul, soulmate. What does that really mean? Is it karmic? Is it romantic? Is it familial? Is it platonic? It's almost like it doesn't matter. So what a soulmate is someone who, I feel, what a soulmate is someone who is on a similar journey, not the same kind of person. So their personality may look different. They may be into different things than you are, but your souls are here doing a similar thing. And you help each other learn about your soul's journey. You help each other learn about where you're supposed to go next. So that's why it kind of doesn't matter whether it's a family member or a romantic partner or a friend. It's still a meaningful relationship because it's helping the expansion and the evolution of your soul, right? It still hinges upon both partners growing. It still hinges upon both partners wanting to learn, wanting to improve. And there sometimes comes a point in soulmate relationships where one soul continues to grow and the other one doesn't. And then that's a different reading, that's a different conversation. But I think what we're trying to do right now is kind of de-romanticize the idea of soulmate, that yes, it's a very special and important relationship. However, there's still work involved. There's still work on both sides involved. The Princess of Pentacles, I feel, is also really furthering that message of the Page of Fire. Follow your star. Follow really what brings you to that place. She's got that star kind of incubating in her second chakra, which is the seat of creativity, the seat of how we make new things and how we connect with that sacred regeneration concept and principle. So this is really interesting. What else wants to come out and talk to us? You know, it's like when you're in one of those things Like if you were to walk into a car wash and get out of your car, you'd be like constantly buffeted with the washer things. So what I feel this is, we've got Two of Cups, so yet another soulmate card, and we started with the Two of Cups as well. So we've got double Two of Cups. So this is really trying to hit home. So when we're looking at soulmate relationships and when we're looking at spiritual growth within the self, all of us, whether you're a man or a woman or however you identify, are on a journey to integrate, understand, and strengthen the connection between our own masculine and our own feminine. That's why I keep talking about you have to be your own soulmate. This not correct idea that someone outside of you completes you and that's what a soulmate is, that's not correct. That's actually codependence, and that's lack of self-identification. There's a whole lot of things that's not. So this is all about healing the either divine feminine or the divine masculine in you. And it doesn't really matter what your gender is. You may be healing one to heal the other. And some people's journeys, myself included, require the interaction with others to make this healing complete. Okay? So when we're talking about a soulmate relationship, it's really important to realize that you're healing something in yourself, they're healing something in yourself. You're going to help each other heal, but you're not going to do it for the other person, and they're not going to do it for you. But this is about really opening yourself up to that kind of relationship, opening your heart up to a relationship that helps you grow, that helps you change, that helps you integrate these two sides of yourself. And I also feel like we've gotten hit with 5 cards that are literally soulmate, soulmate, soulmate. So I think this is also about identifying yourself as a soulmate. And what does that mean to you? You know, for you to be someone's soulmate, what does that mean? Do you still have that antiquated, or I think maybe antiquated is the wrong word, but that inaccurate portrayal of, okay, well, I'm the one to complete someone else because they're the one to complete me. Is it that? Are you really understanding that you're both on completely different soul journeys that are similar, complementary, can help you heal each other? You know, what are you really open for? That's the big question here. Are you open for the deep connection that comes with a soul relationship? Are you ready for the accountability, the personal accountability that comes with a deep soul connection? Because the danger of these cards, these ones especially, is that you can lose yourself in the other. You can become the other, or the other can become you, and that's not a soul relationship. If you're completely the same, if you're just looking in the mirror, that's not a soul relationship. That's actually kind of an ego relationship in a way. It's a narcissistic relationship. And sometimes when we go looking for soulmates, we're really saying, I want someone who's exactly like me so that I'll be able to, it's not what we're saying to them, right? But it's kind of what we're telling ourselves in our subconscious. I want someone who's like me. And really what you're saying is, I want to love me more. And you can do that without another person there, but you will have to do that in a soul relationship. You will have to love yourself just as much as you're loving the other person, because otherwise you're going to try to morph into the same, or they're going to try to morph into you. And that's not a soul relationship. That's actually an ego relationship. The soul is about each person staying on their sacred paths, but interacting and integrating in a way that they're healing, I want to say, deeper than if they would be, if you'd stay in your own path and never meet. Okay, what else? You know, I'm getting the words, don't give up hope. Really believe in this desire. If you are one who's feeling, and I feel like if you're watching this, you do feel this desire strongly. Do not give up in this desire. but really understand what you're getting into and what it's going to require of you. Oh, this one wants to come out for us. 6 of Wands. Yeah, recognizing, seeing what it is. And I know you can see this 8 of Pentacles card on the bottom. Not sure if that's relevant for us right now, but you know, I feel like the 6 of Wands, kind of like the Knight of Wands, is an energy that comes in very strong and very direct and may kind of take you off guard. And the purpose of this energy is to clarify what is your soul desire. And how do you know? How do you know what your soul desire is? A lot of what our soul has written is in our astrological charts, and that's the kind of stuff I love to look at when I'm reading for clients, is connecting them with what their soul wrote. But this is kind of a different question I'm asking right now. It's kind of fun when you figure out what your soul wants, because a lot of times it's unexpected. It's like, oh, you know, I've had clients where I tell them what their soul has written, and they're like, really? That's totally opposite. Or they'll say, oh, you know, I always knew that. But there's always an unexpected element. All right, the Tower and the Lovers. Okay, so this is really fascinating, because a lot of times what the soul wants really challenges what you think you value, really challenges what you think is important, and really challenges what you feel is worth it. You know, what is it worth to you? What would you be willing to sacrifice or change or lose? Sometimes we end up kind of grabbing and striving for something, but when it comes down to the wire, we realize we're not willing to sacrifice certain other things. So that means it must not be that as important as you seem, or as it seems to you. It's just that it's kind of the grass is greener, or it's the forbidden fruit. Because you don't have it, you want it. So what the soul is asking you to do in order to find your heart's desire is find what really brings you peace. Find what really brings you joy. And that's, I know we started talking about joy, but that's a really subtle thing, okay? Because sometimes the things that bring us peace don't seem to bring us peace at first, because we're engaged in a superficial conflict about it, or there's something unresolved in the inner child that still makes you resist what actually gives you peace. And that's where, you know, working with a spiritual mentor who can really help you with that can be very beneficial to you. Little plug, that's the kind of stuff I love to do. But let's really focus on this reading here. So when you realize what it is that you truly love and what you truly value, it may feel like some of what you've built your world upon isn't there anymore. You know, you thought you valued this thing, and so you brought a lot of that into your world, and suddenly you're like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, no, this doesn't bring me peace. It just keeps me wanting more. Or it keeps me feeling unfulfilled. It keeps me thinking that if I could just have one more of that, or if I could just have a little bit more of that, then I'd be okay. That's not what's going on here. I mean, that is what's going on here. So your soul is saying, you will know when it's my desire if you're having to deconstruct your beliefs in the present, and at the end of that deconstruction, you find yourself at peace. Deconstruction of beliefs looks different for everyone. For people that are very air dominant, it's going to be a lot of mental crisis. For people that are, I want to say, earth and water dominant, it's more emotional crisis, like, oh my God, this doesn't feel right anymore. For fire, it's also connected to feeling and belief. See, fire is kind of a different animal because of the passion, fire always wants to be connected to passion and the feeling of something strong. So actually, if there is a misdirected fire, it's going to be very difficult for that fire sign to get back on track with their soul, because what feels right to fire really means what feels strongest. So what feels strongest to them, they say that feels right. So if they haven't been following, if you haven't, as a fire sign, if you haven't been following your soul and you've been following something else, the soul will not feel as strong, and so you won't really think that that's the correct one. So fire sign's a little tricky. You're gonna have to be careful there. Just as a caveat, when I say fire, earth, air sign, whatever, I'm not just talking about your sun sign. I'm talking about the totality of your chart. What kind of energy do you have? And if you're not sure, if you know kind of how to read a chart, just look at how many planets and look at your ascendant also are in air, fire, water signs. That'll give you kind of a gist. There's a more intricate, complicated system, but that'll give you, I think, a pretty accurate answer. So for our purposes at least. So when you find yourself challenging those foundational beliefs, and then you come to that moment of, oh my God, maybe it's the opposite of what I thought, or maybe it's something different than what I thought, and you realize, okay, even when I struggle, even if it feels a little uncomfortable, actually, no, I do feel peace there. That's your soul. That's how you know what your soul wants. And it's funny because you see this a lot in romantic movies where the woman or man has this ideal in their head of the perfect match or the perfect man or woman that they should be with. And then they meet someone that's completely opposite or completely not fitting. And that's maybe why they resist them at first and why they don't see them at first, or it's right in front of their face and they miss it. It's because the beliefs are not in line with the whispers from the soul. And so it's our job to deconstruct those beliefs so we can figure out and be in harmony with the soul. And so, to kind of recap what we've talked about opening the space for joy so that you can be your own soulmate, and so that you can also be open to other soulmates coming to you, but that you take responsibility for yourself as a soulmate. Okay, not that having a soulmate is going to fix all your problems or make your life suddenly wonderful. You still have to be accountable for yourself because you still have to be the other half of that soulmate. Okay? And to really challenge yourself on what does bring you peace and what does bring you joy. Because it may not be what you're expecting. It may not be what you think. It may not be where your current comfort level lies. Okay, the big picture. I like this one. So where exactly do you want us to go with this idea? Because this is about stepping back and looking at everything in the context of all that is being created, all that is being looked at. And really, I think the big message here is about being true to yourself and not being true to the ego self or to the conditioned self, but being true to the real self. And to do this does take a lot of courage and bravery. But if everyone were in tune with their real self, what would that mean for the world? How much of the world could we heal? How much of the world could we put back in balance? How much of the world could we heal? Could we evolve together? There's a message in here about being proud of our contributions, being proud of our contributions as to what we're giving other people and as to what we're giving our community and our world. So whatever you put out there, whether it's a social media post or a conversation or even a thought about someone, is it something you're proud of? Is it something that you're saying, you know what, I'm really giving something that matters. I'm giving something that's important. I really could help someone, or I really could uplift or bolster someone's energy or boost someone up. What I'm doing. Yeah, this is. I think you're getting what I'm saying. Am I really proud of what I'm doing? Why am I doing it? That's a whole other question. Why am I doing it? But how is this helping me contribute? It's kind of stretching us a bit beyond just let me get through this day and let's figure out how to, how to get what I want to make myself happy. This is about what is the bigger picture here. How are we contributing? How are we each bringing a little piece of the puzzle? This card is kind of like the world. It's the last card in the deck. It's the potential gateway. So it's a big accomplishment, and it's the opening up for the new. So I think this is talking about we don't evolve in a vacuum, we evolve together. And what we do touches the lives of other people, whether they are choosing to wake up or change or not. But I think going forward, partnerships. Oh, okay, this is really interesting. So our collective south node has been Libra. So north and south nodes in a natal chart talk about where the soul is trying to evolve in this lifetime. South is what you've mastered, the north is where you're headed. And when we talk about where the planets are currently, wherever the north node is currently, even if it's not your natal north node, we're still being challenged with similar issues. Because to me, where the planets and points are, this is like the weather. We all are affected by the sun being out, we're all affected by the rain. So, you may not be the one getting the most drenched. If you happen to have a Libra south node in your chart, you're getting drenched right now, but the rest of us are still getting sprinkled on a bit. So what that means is by drenched, you're being challenged the most, I think, with the Libra south node issues. So the Libra south node has had us questioning, how do we show up in partnerships? How are we kind of pushing our needs down to make someone else comfortable? Are we truly out of codependence? Are we out of people pleasing? And the Aries North Node, where we've been heading, is being solid in the sense of self, being really, just being solid in the sense of self, knowing who you are, feeling good about who you are, not allowing other people to pull you down or tell you you should be something else. So we've all been working on those issues. The next nodal shift starts in January-ish, and that is going to be South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces. So what this has done effectively, where we are effectively right now, is about the healing of the self so that we can enter healthy partnerships. Because I believe, according to this, what's coming through in this reading right now, it is partnerships that are going to evolve our world forward. It's not just individuals here, there, kind of being the light and spreading the light. It's actually going to be teams of people, at least pairs, probably up to 3 or 4 people in the team, but starting with at least a pair. It is the pair that is going to be evolving the consciousness. It's not single people. I think in the past, when you think of ascended masters or gurus, it's like one person trying to evolve a whole collective. Now it is relationships, a pair of people trying to evolve everyone. It's like it's going to happen twice as fast, essentially, and possibly 3 or 4 times as fast as it would have happened with just one person. And that kind of makes sense as well, because Aquarius, we're in the age of Aquarius. Aquarian is about others. It's not just the age of the self. We're having a lot of fallout, I'm sorry, this is getting technical, from the age of Aries, which was during the Greek and Roman times, where it was just about the self. But in the age of Aquarius, we're learning how to balance self with others, because we realize there isn't just the self in the world. So this is why it's really important to make sure that your sense of self is whole, is complete, is strong, so that you can engage in these collective partnerships more, so that you're open to engaging in these collective partnerships, so that you're not running from them, so that your personal needs are taken care of by yourself, so that you can be there to show up in a different way for others. Okay. So I think, is there anything else that wants to come through? All right. We've covered a lot today. If you have questions about this, please reach out in the comments below. And I know that it can sound a little the shameless plugging, but the thing is that working with people who really want to grow, that this is what brings, first of all, me joy, but also I have so much available to you. If you've been kind of struggling or lost, or you want to evolve faster, I have a lot of tools, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, not just from myself, but from a lot of different, very strong sources that can really help you. So if you're looking and you'd like a reading or you'd like to explore a more deep way of evolving, please do check out soulguidancewithAdriana.com. And I will look forward to seeing you soon.